thanks so much for joining us on this episode of CT Tech Talks. I'm so excited. I'm Madison Donor, CallTower's partner marketing strategist today. And on this episode, we have Sam Barron, our global director of channel sales. And we also are so lucky to have one of his partners, JJ Schwartz, on. JJ, nice to meet you. Thanks so much for joining us. Can you do a quick introduction for all those watching and listening?
Yeah, thanks, Madison. I'm JJ Schwartz. I'm the owner and founder of Phoenix Tech Experts, located here in Syracuse, New York, and been working with Sam for about 6 years now and the CallTower team, and have had a great time working with you guys, and excited to talk a little bit about our relationship.
Awesome. Thanks so much, JJ. And Sam can, for those that don't know Sam, he's great, and you're gonna hear his voice, and he's very tall. You can't tell from him sitting down, but he is very tall. So Sam, I'll I hyped you up a little bit. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey everybody, thanks for listening. As Madison mentioned, I'm Sam Barron. I'm one of the directors here at CallTower. I've been with the company a little over 10 years, like JJ mentioned. Been working with him for about 6 years and change, and been working in various aspects of the industry, various platforms, I should say, providing services down to his customers all the way from the Microsoft Teams side of the house, as well as some and far and few between kind of WebEx calling and some Zoom deals as well. JJ mainly focuses on providing his customers with the right solutions, and obviously he works with various UCaaS providers out there. When working with CallTower, mainly what I'm focusing on with JJ and team is providing Operator Connect, which is one of our Teams native options where we're providing voice services directly into the Teams application. We're going to go into that a little bit later on. It's good to meet everybody. Looking forward to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Sam. Well, I'll just jump into it for us. Like Sam and JJ both said, JJ's been working with Sam for about 6 years and change now. So JJ, right off the bat, what makes you keep coming back to Sam, keep coming back to CallTower when it comes to bringing the right UCaaS, CCaaS provider to your clients?
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer of people buy from people, right? So I love Sam. He's a great guy, and he helps me navigate all the hurdles that I need for my customers. So the biggest reason that we do business with CallTower is because of the people. Sam, the support team behind the scenes, the network operations center for troubles, if there are troubles. Hopefully there aren't troubles, but when they do come up, you do need the bat phone, and Sam and team are always there to help out, dig in, and make things happen. And that's been a big thing for me, is my clients expect to be able to get a great product at a reasonable price, and they want the support. They want that customer experience, and CallTower's been able to deliver for us when we've reached out to them to say, hey, listen, we have an opportunity. Can you help us solve this problem? And normally it's we get with Sam, we get on the phone, we do a demo, and Sam, he won't brag about this, but he does a phenomenal demo, and customers love it. He's just a really lovable guy, and you said he is a big guy. People look at Sam and I, it's like Mutt and Jeff, right? Like he's way up here, and I'm like 5'8", so it's a big difference. So it's just a really good relationship that we've had over the years, and it continues to grow. I'm excited about potential opportunities that we're working on right now.
Yeah, and I think to add to that too, Madison and JJ, first off, appreciate the the recognition of CallTower's support, implementation services, and obviously our relationship. But I also think a piece of that too is JJ's an expert in the technology industry. So when he's consulting with his customers, not only is he trying to pick the right solution for them based on support and implementation, but I think it comes down to the platform and what his customers are looking for as far as like feature and functionality go. A lot of the time when we work with JJ's company, a lot of the time what we're doing is looking at replacements of unified communication solutions as well as contact center applications. A majority of the opportunity that JJ brings to CallTower is mainly focused around Microsoft Teams and a customer that already has Office 365. So obviously with us being an Operator Connect provider, what we're doing for those customers is replacing traditional phone systems. And I know, JJ, you have a couple of use cases we're going to chat about. But what we're doing is basically replacing traditional communication services with more, futuristic or future-proof type unified communication solutions like Microsoft Teams, WebEx calling or Zoom. And what JJ's done a really good job at is educating himself enough and educating the customers enough so they understand that the best option for them to utilize Teams as their phone system is to go with an Operator Connect provider. And there's various reasons why, which we'll touch on a little bit later on. But I just wanted to add that a little bit to the mix here.
Yeah, and just piggybacking off of that, over the past 6 years, and Sam, you talked about the multiple different platforms that JJ's brought his clients to. But talk to us about some of those recent wins. JJ, Sam, what are some, some industries some verticals you guys are working in, and what kind of platforms are we seeing there?
Yeah, I would say, we've had some recent wins in non-for-profit, manufacturing, education, and it really revolved around, they were Microsoft shops. They were looking for a new telephony solution. They wanted to optimize and create efficiencies. And the Microsoft Teams environment, they made the investment. And once you start to make the Microsoft investment, you want to find a partner who is a Microsoft provider. And CallTower fits the bill on that. And the Operator Connect capabilities versus, having direct routing is a game changer in my mind. And that was one of the reasons I went with CallTower, is because of the Operator Connect. You can live within that Microsoft tenant, and it just makes use of E so much better for a client from an experience standpoint, from the IT side, right? Like the IT folks are able to live and die in that system. The other nice thing about it is that the users, right? Nobody's going on, we're on our PCs or laptops. We're all doing our communications through that. Nobody has a desk phone anymore. It's all paperweight, right? Like, we're using mobile devices, we're using whatever we have, and leveraging Microsoft allows them to tackle, whether they're on the shop floor, in the classroom, wherever it may be, they can use that technology to its efficiency. And CallTower has a great portal. It's a great portal. Customers love it. It was one of the main reasons that some of my customers were like, yeah, CallTower is the customer or the provider we want to go with. We love that portal. We love that experience. And then you guys are also bringing in these tools like the 360 analytics, which just gives like more power behind the story of being able to say to a customer, you want KPIs? Good, we can do that. No problem. Here it is. Here's the information. Here's how you can make good business decisions. So working in those verticals, and we have a couple other verticals, within the financial industry, some opportunities we're working on right now that, as CallTower continues to grow and build out the platform, it makes it really easy for a customer to see, like, hey, here's my journey. And that's what I think Sam's and my experience has been, is like, we've been on a journey for the last 6 years working together. And we started with direct routing, and then we moved to Operator Connect, and we're just continuing to move the ball forward. And that's, what's exciting about what CallTower is doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll also add to that too, JJ, when we're looking at the different industries you mentioned, right? You mentioned nonprofit, academic or education organizations, financial institutions, and manufacturing, right? Those are kind of the 4 ones you hit on. There's obviously other industries out there that are adopting Office 365 and Microsoft Teams. But what's cool about the ones you mentioned is they're all very different, right? The only similarities they had was they wanted to leverage Microsoft Teams as their primary communication tool. So when you look at, why were we a good fit in the nonprofit example? Well, Microsoft gives insanely significant discounts for nonprofits and academic organizations. That's part of their value add. One of the reasons why nonprofits and academic companies are going with Office 365 is because they get a significant break in the licensing. So what does that mean from a communication perspective? Well, Teams is probably going to be a pretty good fit if you're already getting it for a really discounted rate. So that's one of the reasons why, us squeezing in our Operator Connect solution to an already established Microsoft portfolio makes a lot of sense financially. The other things that JJ mentioned too are key pieces of this. Why is a company like a nonprofit or an academic organization or any of the other industries out there, why are they not going to Microsoft directly for their voice service? Well, there's various reasons. JJ hit on one of them. It's the analytics piece. Microsoft lacks on some of the key components of a traditional UCaaS or phone system type service, some traditional phone system capabilities, some reporting and analytics, KPI capabilities, More specifically in the manufacturing space, like JJ mentioned, a lot of the times we have companies that have manufacturing floor phones. They don't need to connect those to Teams. If they went to Microsoft directly, they'd have to buy a license for those phones. They'd have to buy, a Teams common area license. Now, in a CallTower world, or when we're providing Operator Connect, we're able to hit on some of those additional capabilities that you don't necessarily get with Teams, or you might have to add on to Teams through third parties. That's all kind of consolidated within our Operator Connect offering. So the cool part about what JJ was mentioning is all the success stories we have. There are various industries out there. They all have similar capabilities, but they all kind of operate differently as organizations. So it's cool to be able to kind of piece the pieces together, if you will, and fit them into this puzzle. So we're, creating the right solution as a whole for the customer. So I appreciate you mentioning the different industries, JJ. I think it's important for the audience to understand that this can really be a flexible solution, and we've seen success in doing that.
Yeah, I think it's, pretty much every industry and vertical you could leverage Microsoft Teams voice for.
Yeah.
There's really not a spot that you can't, but the big difference, like you hit on, CallTower brings those added pieces that Microsoft doesn't have. And who wants to deal with Microsoft directly, right? Like that's just a pain in the neck, right? CallTower kind of tackles that for you. So the blocking and tackling you need to have done, you have somebody doing it that's an expert in it. You don't have to take that on as an organization that doesn't specialize in Microsoft.
Totally.
And you guys have talked about so many different industries and verticals, and going from direct routing to Operator Connect. Do you guys recall one specific deal over the past 6 years where either our integrations or customization really stood out to JJ, one of your clients, just something that really made us stand out and make them choose, okay, let's go with CallTower?
Well, I think right now, like that 360 analytics is one of the key things. I mean, your ability to do we had one manufacturing client, they had a special requirement on the door buzzers that they needed, but it wasn't just specifically door buzzers. It's also needed to tie into a paging system that had life death capabilities, because if the carbon monoxide got out in the facility, they had to evacuate, right? Like every provider was like, I'm not sure how to do this. CallTower was like, oh yeah, we can do this. We do this all the time. No problem. Like talked through the process, and Sam's like, yeah, we got this, this, and this. He reached out to some resources that said, hey, listen, you may want to do this differently than what you're doing today, and we can configure it in Microsoft to do this portion, and then we're going to pass it off to your existing system, and we'll use this, and it's a SIP-based device, and it can connect directly to CallTower, and we can manage all of that for you. Those are the key differentiators that I see. But there's so much that we could talk about from the CallTower perspective that I can rave about, because I've had such a great experience. It really just comes down to every time I think I got one that I can stump Sam on, I call him and he figures out a way to figure it out. He's like, no, I got an idea. Let's try this. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. I consider myself pretty smart, but I'm definitely not the smartest guy out there. That's why I reach out to Sam. I'm like, hey, listen, give me a resource or get me something.
Well, Sam, is there anything, if you want to add to that? I know we only have a few more minutes here, but if you want to add to that, and if you guys want to touch on anything else before we hit that 30-minute mark, feel free. We'll throw that in now.
Yeah, I think part of that too, that conversation was about, a custom integration that we can do at a manufacturing facility. But I think too, just going back to when organizations adopt Teams, they don't understand that some of the stuff they're doing from a traditional phone system perspective might not be available within the new system, right, in Teams. So what JJ was talking about earlier is Analytics 365. It's basically a solution that we layer on to Teams so the customer can use Teams as a whole, and then be able to hit on some of the reporting analytics in which Teams lacks in. So when they're building out things like auto attendance, call queues, different hunt groups for their organization, a lot of times companies want to see kind of the reporting behind that and the life cycle of where the call came into. there's various contact center platforms we do this with as well. So we kind of have like different levels of functionality we can provide depending on what the customer's looking for and depending on what they want to spend. So it's cool that we're able to add additional reporting and stuff to the mix, where Teams itself has really basic stuff through Power BI. I'm sorry, JJ, did you want to add something to that as well?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say some of the, I forgot about some of the integrations on the contact center side with the contact center providers, right? Like if they need a robust contact center, the Teams integration into a Five9 or a Genesys, you guys can, provide that. And you also provide a journey, right? Like we're talking with a client, they need to get on SIP trunking, right? You can handle SIP trunking. You can slowly work the migration to Microsoft Teams. You can also integrate the contact center capabilities. It's like, it's not just integration just with the phone system, but it's a journey, right? That you're going to go through if you're on traditional telephony, right? And you haven't migrated yet to UCaaS, you have a path forward. If you're on UCaaS, you have a path to, going further, wider, deeper from the contact center space and integration capabilities with that, whether it's selling it through you or just creating the API connectivity or the SIP trunking. I think that's a huge differentiator when customers are like, hey, listen, by the way, we like the telephony solution, but hey, we got a 50-person contact center here that handles all of our calls. Or maybe their IT department needs a contact center light, right? Like you guys have a solution for that, where maybe the IT team needs to handle calls and it needs to tie into ServiceNow or something like that they use for their ticketing system, Manage Engine, whatever it may be. But you can provide that, and there's not a gap, right, that they can't answer.
Right.
For them.
Yeah, and a lot of companies are trying to tie that in together, right? UCaaS and CCaaS, where it used to be kind of separate platforms, if you will. So definitely a good story to tell.
Well, thank you guys, both of you, Sam and JJ, for joining us today. And thank you guys for watching, whether you're listening or watching. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of CT Tech Talks, and stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Madison.